In 1954, there were more than 6,000 repair shops in America alone. Today, most people do not know a single repair technician by name. In the 1950s, a washing machine lasted nearly 20 years. Today, the average washing machine lasts 10 years, and manufacturers designed it that way. Nobody decided to stop fixing things. It was decided for us. A weekend in the 1950s in America often began with the low hum of a handsaw, the scent of fresh-cut pine, and a stack of illustrated magazines spread across the kitchen table. Hardware store aisles brimmed with tools designed for ordinary hands, not just professionals. Projects were mapped out in magazines like Popular Mechanics and Better Homes and Gardens, where step-by-step guides turned kitchen tables into workbenches and children into apprentices. The home workshop was more than a place for repairs. It was a space where families built their own bookshelves, patched the fence, or rewired the lamp together. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, all found a kind of quiet pride in a job done with their own tools. Being handy was seen as a sign of reliability, even moral character. A good husband was expected to keep the house running, not just by earning a paycheck, but by fixing what broke. Repair was not a chore, it was a point of identity. Advertisements for plywood and paintbrushes promised not just savings, but satisfaction and self-respect. The act of fixing was woven into family rituals, woodshop weekends, painting the porch, tuning up the family radio. More than 60 million Americans by the mid-1950s took part in these hobbies, according to Businessweek. No one called this self-sufficiency. It was simply what it meant to own something. To repair was not to pinch pennies, but to affirm that what you owned mattered, and that you, in turn, mattered to your family and your community. In these moments, fixing things was not just normal. It was how people truly lived. The Great Depression did not simply test American families. It trained them. When paychecks vanished and bank doors stayed locked, thrift became a matter of survival. In kitchens across the country, soap slivers were saved in wire cages, stretched until even the scraps were useful. Clothes were patched and repatched, each stitch a quiet refusal to give in. Federal Writers' Project photographs from the 1930s show children in hand-mended overalls and mothers boiling bones for soup, turning scarcity into a kind of dignity. Repair was not frugality, it was resilience. As the nation shifted from hardship to war, this ethic took on new urgency. With rubber, steel, and fabric rationed for the front, government posters hung in shop windows and post offices. One poster read, "Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without." The call was not just to save, but to serve. The War Production Board urged citizens to fix shoes, mend tires, and salvage scrap metal. Even the smallest acts, like darning a sock, became part of the arsenal of democracy. Repair was reframed as patriotic duty. During these years, the archetype of the wartime citizen emerged. It was not only men who answered the call. The YWCA organized home repair classes for women, teaching how to rewire lamps, patch roofs, and keep the furnace running. Repair skills became a shared language, crossing gender and class lines. In these moments, fixing was not just about getting by. It was about standing together, refusing waste, and proving that ownership meant stewardship. The nation's ability to repair became a measure of its strength. A bell above the door signaled another customer, and the neighborhood repair shop came to life. Counters were crowded with radios, clocks, and shoes waiting for new souls. The air carried the tang of solder and machine oil. On one wall, a row of vacuum tube testers stood ready. Anyone could walk in, pull a suspect tube from their radio, and check it for a few cents. Behind the counter, an apprentice sorted tiny resistors, learning the trade by watching, then doing. No one needed a college degree to start. Skill was passed down by demonstration, repetition, and a quiet pride in getting it right. Shops like these were everywhere. More than 6,000 radio and TV repair storefronts dotted the country in 1954, alongside 12,000 cobblers and over 1,600 watch and clock shops. These were not side hustles or hobbyist dens. They were the backbone of Main Street, supporting 250,000 workers and generating over $1 billion in receipts each year. The Radio Institute alone trained 40,000 new technicians annually, feeding a pipeline of skilled hands into storefronts and service vans. Ownership was diverse. In many cities, Italian, Jewish, Black, and Latino families ran these shops, building livelihoods and sometimes generational wealth in the space between what broke and what could be made whole again. Signs in English, Spanish, Yiddish, and Polish hung over shop windows. For new arrivals, repair offered a ladder, one that was open to anyone willing to learn and work. This was not an underground economy, it was the economy. The neighborhood repair shop was more than a business. It was a place where knowledge and respect flowed in both directions, where the value of a thing and of a person was measured by what could be restored, not just replaced. By the late 1950s, something fundamental changed in the way American goods were built and in the way companies saw their customers. The promise of repair gave way to the logic of disposability, not by accident, but by design. On the factory floor, engineers began sealing washing machines and refrigerators with rivets and glue instead of screws. What could once be opened with a screwdriver now demanded a drill or a hacksaw. A broken part was no longer a fixable problem, it became a reason to buy new. Automakers led the charge, rolling out annual model year styling that made last year's fender or dashboard suddenly look and feel out of date. General Motors phased out spare parts for older models after just 18 months, leaving owners with little choice but to trade in or trade up. The cost of repairing a car body soared as replacement panels became scarce by corporate policy, not by necessity. The very idea of keeping something running started to look old-fashioned, almost suspect. Behind the scenes, the numbers told the real story. In 1957, American companies spent $10 billion on advertising, more than the entire federal budget for education. Appliance makers like General Electric and Whirlpool poured money into campaigns that celebrated the thrill of the new, while quietly steering warranty policies to favor factory service and penalize independent repair. A claim from your local shop might be denied, or cost you more simply because you chose a neighbor over the company's own technician. The system was rigged to make repair uneconomical. The skills that once defined adulthood and community were recast as obstacles to progress. The message was clear: what you owned was not meant to last, and your role was not to care for it, but to replace it. The loss was not just economic. It was a loss of dignity, of agency, of the quiet pride that came from making something last. A modern shopkeeper unlocks the back panel of a machine only to be stopped by a silent gatekeeper, a line of code. In today's world, even the simplest repair can be blocked by software locks, proprietary screws, or warranty voids that turn owners into bystanders. Nowhere is this more visible than in the saga of the McDonald's ice cream machine, a device so notorious for its breakdowns and unfixable errors that it has become a punchline. For franchisees, every day the machine sits idle means over $1,000 lost, and only a certified technician with the right firmware can reset it. Across industries, these digital barriers create a monopoly on repair, fueling mountains of e-waste and draining small businesses. The right to fix what you own has quietly slipped away, replaced by a system where frustration is built in and agency is locked out. Across the country, a new kind of gathering has taken root. In church basements, libraries, and union halls, neighbors now meet at more than 2,500 repair cafes worldwide, rolling up their sleeves to bring broken toasters, lamps, and laptops back to life. These clinics are not just about fixing objects. They restore a sense of agency long denied by locked-down devices and throwaway policies. In state houses, too, the tide is turning. Massachusetts led the way for cars in 2012. Minnesota and California followed with right-to-repair statutes in 2023. Now Congress is debating the Fair Repair Act, which would require manufacturers to share parts and manuals with anyone willing to fix what they own. The blueprint is clear. Repair is not a relic, but a right. Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez said that when you buy something, you should be able to fix it. We are not going back. We are reclaiming what was taken. We did not call this self-sufficiency. We just called it owning something. Repair was not frugality. It was resilience. We did not lose the repair culture. It was legislated away from us. We are not going back. We are reclaiming what was taken. What will you demand to repair?